Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Fine, guys. Now let's talk about hard reset. What do we do in the hard reset? So when you do a hard reset, right? So if you do git status, right now we are in the staging state. So I'm going to make a commit first. Again, I'm going to call it third. And now we are going to do a hard reset. So if you do git log hyphen hyphen one line, okay, you can see we are on it. Now let's do a hard reset. So let's say if I do a hard reset here, git reset hyphen hyphen hard, and then we put the commit ID. Okay. Now notice what happens to the commits here. So if I do git log hyphen hyphen one line, we can see the commit is gone. Okay, commit is gone completely. And if I do git status, look, I'm on branch master and says nothing to commit, right? So what really happened is all the commits and all the content that you had is also gone. The content was retrieved earlier, right? Retained earlier. Now it's not even retained here. So if you check the status of file, look, there is nothing third written in here, right? So hard reset removes all the commits and the content too. Okay. So if you do hard reset, then it will remove all the commits and content as well. Try this thing. Try it out and make sure you understand the reset option with all three options: soft, mixed, and hard. Is it done? Now, guys, we have been working with the local repository. Uh, so like we have discussed that distributed systems are built to work in local plus remote mode, right? Now, remote repository is usually your centralized server, okay, where the entire source code can be kept. Now, what we are going to do here is, just for the practice purposes, we are going to use remote as the GitHub. Okay. Now, if you already have a github.com account, it's fine enough. But otherwise, please create an account on github.com. We are going to uh, integrate our local repository with the remote repository and see a couple of more things such as branching, pull, push, cron, cloning. All these options we are going to take a look into. Okay, do this.
So it should be the official email ID that we have to register if we are doing.
No, you can use your personal Gmail ID or official one, however you see it fit. Fine, guys. Now take a look how do we integrate it. So I'm going to go to my GitHub account, and I already have an account, so I'm going to very quickly sign up. Now see, GitHub is a public repository, we all know, right? So if you would like to create a repository, I'm going to create one. So this happens to be my organization here. So when you create it for the first time, you will also have an organization there. And within an organization, you can create multiple repositories. And for our purpose, we are going to work with the public repositories. But organizations, those who use it for the official purposes, can even make use of private repositories. So I'm going to create a private repo. Okay, private repo. So this becomes my repository. I'm going to create a public repository here. Select, keep it public. You to keep it public. And then I'm going to click on create repository. Now this repository has been created. Once you have created the repository, you have two ways of authentication. One is using the HTTPS, which involves the password. Other is using the SSH, which involves the SSH keys for the authentication. Any one of them will be fine. Let me know once you have created a repository like this, a public repository like this. And do not initialize in any way, just create it. Blank repository with nothing in it.
So here all the repository names and all should be unique or
Okay, see
under
what
under
happens
your
is, right, your org will anyways be unique. Okay, and the repository name can even be common. So if you have your org, right, you can use the same repository name. Eventually your repository will look like this: github.com/your org name and then the repository name. So this complete thing is the formation of the address.
in real time. So even the organizations will go here and create that organization and make them as a private, or is that some other way to they will be doing?
No, so most of the organizations don't really use GitHub. So in GitHub, you can create private repositories and make use of. A lot of organizations would use the internal machines. For example, the hosted GitLab is very popular among the corporates who prefer to use Git-based code repositories. Now, a lot of organizations even use some of the cloud-based repositories or even GitHub. So GitHub can even be used with the organization, wherein you can set up all the paid account and buy the private repositories. All that can be done. You can add multiple developers into it. You can create developer groups, and you can also define who can make remote push, who can do the merge branches. All those properties can be used here as well. Is it done? Now, what we are going to do is we are going to push our code from local repository to remote repository. Now, notice one thing. This is our local repository. This is our remote repository. This happens to be right now blank, but that's a different thing. Now, in order to push it, what do you do is, first of all, we are going to add our a remote repository to the local repo. Okay. How do you do that? Git remote, add, and then you give it a nickname. So I'm giving it a nickname of origin, which is usually popular. And then you pass on the URL here. Now I'm using HTTPS URL, so I'll be using username and password as the authenticator. Done. Then I'll do git push origin into master. So what am I telling is that whatever my local master branch is, push that into the remote origin, and origin points to this remote repository, right? Once I do it, look, it is asking me for my username. I'm going to log in with my username. Then it is asking me for a password. I'll enter my password. Okay. Once you have done this, right, entire source code which was available locally has been pushed into your GitHub. Okay, you can see, right, the GitHub has it all. We can see the branches there, and if you would like to see all the commits and all, if all the details will be visible here. Now our local repository is in sync with the remote repository, right? So this is how you can do it. Okay, these are the commands that you can make use of. So go inside the directory and then first of all add it. After adding it, just push it. So when you push it, it will automatically ask you to log on. Let me know once you are done with this.
Can you show how to copy that link from the GitHub?
Viral? Okay, see, when you create a repository, right, you'll be able to, it will show you the URL here right away. Did you create a repository, public repository?
Yes.
Okay, do you see the URL, HTTPS URL there? You will see two
Yeah.
URLs, HTTPS, yeah, copy that.
Yeah, okay.
I think we are not allowed to paste it in the web session because the paste
Yeah.
is not working over there.
Right, maybe you will have to type it out.
Hey, Manshu, I don't see the URL in the page, basically.
Okay, show me your screen once. Yeah, Mayur.
How do I share? Okay.
Yeah, at the bottom you will see some option.
No, once you're able to see.
Yes, I'm able to see now. See, you have created the repository, right? And you have already initialized it, right? Now do one thing, click on your this Motihari C. Yeah. Now let's create another repository. Do you see an option to create a repo? Yeah, click on repositories. Yeah, click on new repo. Yes, give it a name. Yeah, scroll down. Do not initialize it. Do not initialize it. Click on create repository.
Okay, I did that actually last time. So.
Right. Now see, it shows you the name, right? URL there. Yeah, you can copy this.
Okay. Yeah. Now I can do it.
Is it done? Guys, are you able to make a remote push?
Yes.
Yes,
Manju.
Okay. Now look, guys, understand one thing. See, what really happens in actual ecosystem is when multiple developers work with the source code repositories, right? Then let's say there are multiple people working on this code repository, and people have made remote commits. Okay, so let's say if someone has made a commit, let's say if someone goes into this file, they can make a commit into this, right? Let's say if I edit it, and if I say a new commit has been added. Okay, now notice one thing, when a new commit gets added to the remote branch, okay, local branch is actually lagging behind, right? because now your remote branch has 3 commits. Your remote branch has more commits, and local branch is running 1 commit behind, right? How many commits are on the local branch, if you would like to say it? If I do git log -1 line, we can see locally we have 2 commits, right? But on the remote we have 3 commits, right? Because I just made a commit here. So if now this is called conflict of commits, okay? Your remote branch is actually running ahead of your local branch, right? Now, how can you fix it? There is a property called git pull, okay? Whenever your remote branch is running ahead of your local branch, you can do a git pull. And let's do a git pull. So if I do git pull, and when you do a git pull, you can either specify the remote repository. Now remote repository is already added as a nickname here, right? We added the nickname as origin. So if I do git pull origin, so just take the state of file here. My file contains only 2 contents, right? So if I do git pull origin master, once I do it, okay, what really happens is the remote commit which was available, the commit which was available on the remote repository becomes available locally here. So if you see here now, git log, okay, you can see the commit is available here. And if I do git log -1 line, look, we can see the 3rd commit has been downloaded automatically here, right? And this commit ID is completely similar to the commit ID that you see here, 0E7, right? 0E7. So this is how you can do the pull. This is a good tactic. Right? So here is what you are going to do. Exercise: make a commit directly into GitHub, okay, and pull it locally and verify using this command. Do this. Is it done?
Himanshu.
Okay. Now guys, let's talk about a thing called branches. So what really happens is when you have single branch, right, it becomes eventually difficult for people to manage multiple developers, and when everybody starts committing into the master branch, it doesn't really make sense. And hence Git has a concept called Git branches. And what is a branch? So when you do Git branch, okay, look, it shows you how many branches locally you have. Only 1 branch, right? And how many remote branches do you have? On remote also you have only 1 branch, which is master. Now how can you create branches and work with them, and how do you merge those branches is what we are going to discuss. So what really happens is, right now in my master branch, if you see, I have 3 commits, right? Now if I would like to create a branch, I can do that. Git branch. First you have to create a branch, and then you can go into that branch. So you can create a branch by just running the command git branch and then the branch name. So let's say if I create a branch called dev, let's say the branch has been created. Now if I do git branch, look, I'm still working on the master, right? But dev branch has been created. Now dev branch has been started right away, hence dev is going to become a snapshot of it. Okay, so everything that the master had will go into the dev. Now if you would like to go to the dev branch, how can you do that? Git checkout dev. Once you do it, look, it tells you you have switched to your branch dev. Now all the commits which master had are also available on the dev branch. You can see that. Git log, you can see all the commits which master had are also available with the dev. So this is how we can create a branch and switch to it. Okay, you to create a branch and switch to it. And then we are going to talk about different kind of merging strategies and the real purpose of using the branches.
Manch, after this exercise, can we take a break for lunch?
Okay, sure, we can do that, no worries. So just do one thing, just complete this, and then in 5 minutes we'll take a break. Yeah.
Sure.
After the lunch we'll talk about the merging of branches.
How can I come back to the original branch?
Come back to the
I have done the checkout to dev, right? We were in the
Okay.
master branch, right? If I do git checkout master, I'll come back to the master branch.
yes, you will. So right now if I do git branch, look on which branch I am, dev branch, right? If I want to go back to the master, I can do git checkout master.
Master. Okay.
Now on which branch I am, master. Is it done, guys? Are we going to take the lunch? Everybody done with this, creating branch and moving to it? Fine. Now let's talk about how do you work with the branches. Now remaining, once the branches are created, right? Branches created locally and remotely are maintained separately. Okay. So we have created a branch locally, right? And if we do here get branch, we can see we have two branches. How can we go to the dev branch? Get checkout dev. Now we are on dev branch, right? Now once you are on the dev branch, and let's say if you have created a file called dev.txt, and if you write a line into it, and let's say if you did get add dot, and if you did a commit, commit is done. Now notice here, when we do git branch, you can see we are on the dev branch, and if you do git log -one line, okay, the commit is done in git dev. And now if you go to the master, and if you try to get the commits here, okay, look, your master branch is right now still on the third commit that you did, right? While dev branch is way ahead by one commit. Now, and if you see, look, now I'm on new dir, and I'm actually on the latest commit that we did on master branch. So there is no dev.txt here because that is in the dev branch, right? And hence this is how it works. Now in case if you have to push a branch remotely on GitHub, okay, see, branch is not even available here. Here also you will see only one branch available for this repository. Now let's push our branch here. So if I want to push my branch, I'll do get push origin dev. Earlier I was pushing master, right? Now I'm going to push dev branch onto origin. Once I do this, it will again ask me the same way authentication and everything. And once we do all that, our code will be pushed to the GitHub. Done. Now if you come back here, and if you refresh it, okay, look, we can see two branches, right? And you can see dev branches also there. So this is how branch can be created locally and can be pushed. Okay. do this very quickly. Do it. Then we'll talk about a thing called merging. Okay, how do we merge them? Is it done, guys? Now let's talk about the next thing, which is called merging. Now, what really is merging practice? Is the practice of merging a child branch back to the parent. Okay, so look, we started a dev branch from the master branch, which was a parent branch, right? Now, let's say if you would like to merge it, can you do that? Yes, we can do that. Now, how do we do that? Is there are multiple branch methodologies which are available. Okay, and depending upon what kind of ecosystem do you have, where is your what is the status of your current directory, the merge takes place. Now, when you would like to merge them, there are a couple of options which you can make use of. Now, how do we do that? Is in order to merge, okay, let's say right now our dev branch is running ahead of master, right? Because it has all the everything of the master, plus it is one commit ahead. So if you do git log --- one line, look, this is our master, and if you do git checkout dev, okay, and if you do it on the dev, we can see dev is ahead of master by one commit, right? Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about a branch type called fast forward branch, fast forward merge. Okay, now in the fast forward merge, okay, the parent branch doesn't really have any commits done. So how do we do that? I'll do git checkout master, and I'll do git merge dev. Once I do this, right, notice product, this master branch did not really have the dev commit, right? But now if you see, the dev commit is also available here, right? And even dev.txt, which was missing earlier, is also available here. So this is a very simple way of merging the child branch into parent branch. Try it out, see how it works. This is called fast forward merge. Then we'll talk about a merge called three-way merge. Try it out, fast forward merge. So in fast forward merge, you have a dev branch, and dev branch has additional commits than the master branch, but there is no additional commit on the master branch. So in a way, fast forward branch works perfectly fine when the parent branch has not really added any additional commits. Only the child branch has added the additional commits. Fine, guys. Any issues on this? Now let's talk about three-way merge. What really three-way merge is, and how does it looks like? What really happens is when you have multiple branches, right? It's very evident that some people will work on all the branches, and in case if you are working on all the branches, right? Now, right now our master and dev both are pretty equal, right? I'm going to delete my dev branch. Let's say git branch -d dev. Okay, so it has deleted the dev branch. So now if I do git branch, okay, we are here right now. Let's say if I create a new branch, git branch test, and I'll do git checkout test. So I'm on the test branch, right? Now let's say on the test we have made a commit.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.